Hey everyone. So I had a few people asking about the book pumpkins. I made these today, or this one, and this one. So I made those two with paperbacks. This one is a hardcover, so we're going to give it a try, see if my saw will cut it. I cut them on my saw, and the paperback was a bit thicker, so I'm hoping it will cut this one okay. I might need to change the blade. But all you need to do is, I'm making sure that I tape the edges, because when you start pushing and pulling the book against the blade, the pages want to, go cockeyed, especially if you're using a paperback. I would just tape it up. You're going to take this cover off anyways, so I'm not worried about it. But I did tape inside so that those pages kind of stay together. All you need is a half a pumpkin, silhouette picture, whatever. So I got this one from PowerPoint, and I just kind of cut it in half. I'm going to use some spray adhesive and stick it on the book exactly where I need it to be. Hopefully you guys can see all right. I have my camera turned the opposite way. So what I want to make sure I do, even though this is rounded right here, I kind of want to go straight so that I have a flat edge. And what I'll probably do, see if I got a pen. Because you want to have a flat base for it to sit on. So if I just take this and kind of go straight right here, it should be okay. So the saw is kind of loud. I'll try to mute it when I go to edit this video so that it won't be so loud. Okay, now you see it only took me a couple of minutes using a scroll saw. I don't know how it would go with a jigsaw. So we're just going to pop this out. Obviously this part is junk. Now you see where I taped earlier, you can't even see it. So now you have the book binding. We're going to cut that one off. It's easier with a paperback because you can just kind of pull them off. I haven't done a hardcover yet, so let's see how it works. This one might not even work. Oh, maybe. Let's see. Maybe I'm just not cut deep enough. Okay, you don't need this part, so you can just discard it whenever you get it off. The other ones I didn't leave this part, but I wanted to see how it was going to work out. Okay. So I'm just going to try to pull the paper off because my hot glue isn't going to really stick very well to that. Just try to get off the majority of it. Any big pieces, chunks, that kind of thing. I'll have to wait a little bit for my glue gun, but in the meantime, you're going to kind of try to get it split in half. And you want to work that binding. So now I use these little dowels. These are actually from the cake decorating aisle at Walmart. Hang on if I can find my other one. Grab another one. These are actually to hold up platforms for cakes, but they work great in the binding to help. Let me see. I got the camera faced the wrong way, so they work great trying to bend it. So you see how it almost fits perfectly in there? Just trying to get it to form a little bit. So you could use anything. You could use a small skewer, although they're really thin. You could use So if you have stems, nubs from floral arrangements, you could use one of those. I'm just trying to soften up that binding a little bit. And you could probably even run a heat gun or a hair dryer there, but you want to be careful because you don't want it obviously to come off the book. So the idea is to glue the binding to itself. And I usually will work a lot of the pages, and I'll end up gluing right in here every 3 or 4 pages, skipping a couple, gluing again, so that you're kind of getting in here and you're separating those a little bit. You're adding a little space in there. So once my hot glue gun is ready, I will be back. All right, I think it's ready. We're gonna give it a go here. I'm just gonna grab my sticks, and really what I want to do with these is just put them here. You don't have to do this part, you can do it however you want, but I kind of want the spine to be rounded so that I can add more glue in there, so that I can the last stem I did, I actually put a piece of floral nub on there, stuck it into the stem that I wanted to use. I drilled a hole, and then I stuck that nub down in there so that it was almost like a pick. So I'm just kind of bending it. I did go around and just fold the book in half, grab a couple pages, and fold it back. You know, just kind of, you're just kind of opening up that spine a little more. It makes it just a little bit easier. So we're going to put a whole bunch of glue right here, and then we're going to kind of hold it.
I'm going to go play Nolan.
So I'm not worrying if it's going to squeeze out or anything. Hopefully you guys can see this. I know the lighting is in here isn't that good. So make sure your sticks are down, but that are not getting, you know, they're not getting glued in. So, and then you're going to kind of squeeze up. It's because you're going to get glue squeezing up through that, and you want it to stick. So let's make sure. Yep, we got plenty of glue on there. Try to make sure your pages are kind of lined up. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're not going to notice it much. Give it a good squeeze. I'm going to hold it for a little bit. You can take your dowels out. And I'm never really idle, so I'm kind of holding it where it goes together, keeping it held in there. But too, then grabbing some of these, fanning them out. If your book automatically fans out good enough for you, you don't have to go back and glue it. I did that for the first 2 books that I did. And it seemed to work really well. It was a little bit extra time, but I wanted it to fan out. And once you spray paint it, whatever color you're going to spray paint, if you're going to spray paint it, that too also helps stiffen up the pages a bit. So like I said, I'm still hanging on here. I don't have any glue seeping out of the bottom. We're just going to kind of keep working it. So if anything, we'll flip it over and kind of do what I was doing earlier. You just don't want your bookbinding seam to come undone. And I don't suggest doing this with your favorite books. Go to the thrift store, Goodwill or St. Vincent or whatever it is you have in your town. Or if you have an old book lying around that hasn't been read in a million years, or something, you know, your Aunt Marge left you. So this one doesn't fan out as much as I'd like, so I'm going to go back and fan some of that out. Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to bump you guys. So it's staying pretty well together. I did not put glue probably from here up, but like I said, that's for my stick later, so I'm not going to worry about it. what I am going to do, so I'm just going to kind of fold it, doesn't matter where. This was where the seam is. What we're going to do, take it this way, put that in. Now my glue gun was on high for the beginning, but now I'm going to kind of turn it on low, and I'm just going to add glue right here by the spine. I'm going to take a few pages and smush it. And just keep repeating that till you get all the way around the book. That glue in there, the closer you get to the spine, is going to help add like a little more space in there, almost like you're adding a bookmark. And you don't have to be heavy with the glue, just enough to get it to stick. And you will have glue strings, so try to catch them as soon as they dry, because otherwise you're going to see those when the spray paint comes on. Okay, so let's bend this a little bit. See if we can kind of fan it like this a little bit, make it easier on ourselves. And you can see I'm not really worried about this part up here. If this is glued down here, this should stay. So I'm not really going to worry about that up there. Although you could absolutely glue up there. I can already feel that it's getting pretty full here. So you can feel it. You can already see that it fans a little better than what it was. So before it was kind of like this. Now it's fanned quite a bit more. Okay, so we're just going to keep going. Find out where I left off here. Right in here. I can feel the warmth of the glue. Do one of these? Yes, we did. Okay, so right here. And just keep going around. I'm not grabbing any certain amount of pages. You can sit here and grab, you know, every third, every fourth, but about 3-4 pages. Okay, and what we're going to do is I'm going to take some more and fold it back. So now I have, so that it lays just a bit flatter. So our pages aren't getting glued pretty wonky. You guys ever have questions, you can always ask me. I'd be glad to help you. Shoot me a message. I usually, unless I'm at my part-time job, I don't, I answer messages pretty quick. But it was just a fun little project, a little DIY, some, you know, little shock stopper, or the shop stocker. A little something. Okay. So we're gonna go, let's fold it back over a little bit and see how much more we have to do. Okay, so we did about half, a little bit more than half. This is kind of when it gets easier. You can kind of just let the pages run through your fingers, a few of them at a time, and then go back and smush it down. And I'm trying to go as close to the spine as possible, like I said, so that we get a little gap there. All right, where did I stop? You guys can probably hear Griffin running along his line there. If he sees all the kids playing outside and wants to go running after them. Okay, I think we're, whoops, there he goes. Come play with me, guys. I think we're almost back to where we were. Let's see how we're doing now. And now it's really just taking and manually shifting them apart a bit. This is the tedious part. But if you want a good fanned look, you need to do that. So not too bad. This book is thinner, as in page count, than what I had before, or what I used before. So I mean, you can tell the difference. And now it was as floppy as this, so now the pages are pretty stiff now that there's some weight to them with the spray paint. All right. Okay. So normally I use Rust-Oleum. Just this one, it has a paint and primer in it. Earlier I used the metallic finish. I used Rust-Oleum. This is Rust-Oleum chalked. I kind of went that white look, so that's what I'm going to use on this one. So you can absolutely use whatever color you want, whatever color goes with your decor or whatever your customer wants. So this one is just a little gappy. I'm just going to put a little dot right there in the center of the page and smush them together. And hopefully the other ones kind of, once the weight is on them. All right, so let's move outside. It's getting a little dark out, but I should be able to see, or you should be able to see just fine. All right. Okay, so we're outside. Hopefully I don't get overspray on my phone. You're just going to spray really liberally, but you don't want to coat, obviously, the letter, so you want to make sure you're around the top, and then you get the edge pages. Now, obviously, this is white. You're not going to see it as much as if you did red or the blue. Now with the blue and the copper, I only had to do one layer, one coat. Let me kind of show you here. Oop. So, I mean, you can see where it's lightened it up some, but obviously it's not going to give you the coverage. So you can see some of the whiter edge here. Now what you can do is wait till it dries and then go back and do a second coat, and that's probably what we'll do with that. I'm sorry, I just took you guys on a big ride. So we'll let that dry a little bit and then we'll come back and do it again. Alright, so with the second coat, obviously the white is not going to show up very much on white paper or even cream colored paper. You can see some of the edges there, which is kind of the look I was going for. So this is going to be fine. I'm going to let it dry fully, and then tomorrow I will decorate it.